Hi, welcome to Easy Learning. In this video, we are going to learn 5 basic algebraic properties. We are going to define all 5 properties for both addition and multiplication. And I want to illustrate all of my examples, and I'm going to be using letters A, B, and C to demonstrate the properties and the values 5, 2, and 4, just to give an example of how these properties work. The first algebraic property is known as commutative property, and it has a part of both addition and multiplication. So for addition, the commutative property states that if I have A plus B, I can rewrite it as B plus A. And for multiplication, if I have A times B, I can rewrite it as B times A. Let's substitute the values of A and B. Suppose A is equal to 5 and B is equal to 2. Let's substitute these values in this commutative property for addition and see how it works. So A is equal to 5. So I'm going to write 5 here. 5 plus B is equal to 2. So the value of B is 2 here. So 5 plus 2. Now I'm going to put value of B and A here. B is equal to 2. So 2 plus and A is 5 here. 5 plus 2 equals to 2 plus 5. Let's solve it. 5 plus 2 is 7 and 2 plus 5 is also 7. So this shows that commutative property of addition A plus B is equal to B plus A. Let's substitute the value of A and B over here and see how commutative property of multiplication works. So A is 5 and B is 2. So 5 times 2 is equal to, we can write it as B times A. Okay, B is 2 here and times and A is 5. Okay, let's solve it. 5 times 2 is 10 and 2 times 5 is also 10. So this shows that commutative property of multiplication A times B is equal to B times A. An important thing to remember about commutative property is that commutative property does not apply on subtraction and division. The second algebraic property is known as associative property, and it has a part for both addition and multiplication. So for addition, the associative property states that if I have A added to the quantity of B plus C, I can rewrite it as the quantity of A plus B plus C. Now, associative property of multiplication says that if I have the quantity of A times B multiplied by C, I can rewrite it as A multiplied by the quantity of B times C. Let's substitute the values of A, B, and C in associative property of addition and associative property of multiplication and see how this works. So A is 5 plus B is 2 plus C is 4. Now I'm going to write the other side of the equation, which says 5 plus the quantity of 2 plus 4, right? Now here 5 plus 2 quantity of 5 plus 2 plus 4. Let's solve this side of the equation first. The order of operation says that we'll solve the parenthesis first. So 2 plus 4 is 6. 5 plus 6 is 11. Okay, now I'm going to solve this part of the equation. Let's see what will be the result. 5 plus 2 will solve the parenthesis first. 7 plus 4. Okay, 7 plus 4 is 11. So 11 equals to 11. So this shows that associative property of addition A plus the quantity of B plus C is equal to the quantity of A plus B plus C. Now let's substitute the values here and prove that associative property of multiplication works with these values. Let's start. A is 5 times B is 2. So I'm gonna write the parenthesis around it. C is 4, equal sign. A is 5, B is 2 times C is 4. Okay, so let's solve this side of the equation first. 5 times 2 is 10. 10 times 4. 10 times 4 is 40. Okay, let's see what will be the result here. So we'll solve parenthesis first. 2 times 4 is 8. Okay, now I'm going to solve 5 times 8. 5 times 8 is 40. So this means that this side of the equation, the quantity of A times B multiplied by C is equal to A multiplied the quantity of B times C. An important thing to note about associative property is that associative property does not apply on subtraction and division. Now, the third property is the identity property, and it states that if I take A and I add 0 to it, I keep A. And for multiplication, if I start with A and I multiplied it by the number 1, I'm left with A. Let's substitute the value of A here and see how identity property works. A is 5, so I'm going to put it here. 5 plus 0 is equal to 5, which is also equal to A. So this proves that identity property of addition A plus 0 is equal to A. Now let's substitute the value over here and see how it works. A is 5. 5 times 1, as we know, 5 times 1 is 5, so it's equal to 5. So this shows that identity property of multiplication, A times 1 is equal to A. So for identity property of addition and multiplication, we can take different values of A and put it in this equation and prove the identity property of addition and multiplication. Now the fourth property is the inverse property. For addition, it says that if I have A and I add it to the inverse of A. Inverse of A means minus A. As you all know that the inverse of addition is subtraction. So I'll get 0. And for multiplication, if I take A and I multiply that by the inverse of A. So inverse of A means 1 over A. As you all know that the inverse of multiplication is division. So A times 1 over A, I get 1. so long as the A is not equal to 0. Let's substitute the value of A and see how inverse property of addition works. So here A is 5 plus inverse of 5 is minus 5. So plus 5 and minus 5 is equal to 0. You can solve it like this. Plus minus is minus. When we multiply both signs, plus times minus means minus. 5 minus 5 is equal to 0. So this property has proved that inverse property of addition says A plus minus A is equal to 0. Now move on to this side and substitute the values. 5 times 1 over 5 is equal to 1. 5 times 1 over 5 means 5 divided by 5 is equal to 1. So inverse property of multiplication, A times 1 over A is equal to 1. Now the fifth property combines both addition and multiplication and is known as distributive property. And the distributive property states that if I have A times the quantity of B plus C, I can rewrite it as A times B plus A times C. A times B plus A times C. Let's substitute the values of A, B and C and see how it works. A is 5, B is 2 and C is 4. So let me solve it first. So this side of the equation, as you know, the order of operations says that we'll solve the parenthesis part first. So I'm going to write 5 as it is and 2 plus 4 is 6. Now 5 times 6 is 30. Let's substitute the value here and solve it. So 5, A is 5, B is 2, so 5 times 2 plus A is 5 and C is 4. Okay, so 5 times 2 is 10 and 5 times 4 is 20 and 10 plus 20 is 30. So this means that distributive property of multiplication and addition, because it combines both addition and multiplication, says that A times B plus C equals to A times B plus A times C. So this was all about algebraic properties. These algebraic properties are very simple. However, complex algebraic equations are often not solved in a single step, and multiple smaller steps have to be taken to break apart the equation apart and then simplify it into an easy to understand form. Algebraic properties help to understand what the equation is doing and how it's representing your data. And that's why it's important to understand these very simple but very important algebraic properties. Thank you for watching. If you found this video interesting, please like and share it. Please subscribe to stay up to date on coming lessons.